This is MSI's X99A Gaming Pro Carbon motherboard. It's a pretty awesome, obviously X99 platform motherboard. Has a few nice features and some rather interesting ones as well that we'll take a look at in this video, so do stick around. Hope you enjoy it. As usual, the back of the box covers all of the new features, including possibly the weirdest name for lighting ever, called Mystic Light. But anyway, inside the box you get the usual stuff like SATA cables, RARO shield, door hanger, as well as some extension cables to plug in your case LEDs to the motherboard and sync them up. And obviously this is a standard ATX motherboard, and because of its name, the Carbon, does have some carbon fiber sort of aspects on the chipset heatsink, the RARO and the VRM heatsinks too, and it also has 8 reinforced RAM slots, which is kind of interesting, as well as the socket 2011-3. In terms of sort of I/O and expandability, you have an M.2 slot, U.2, and what's really cool is an inward-facing Type-C port for the front panel connectors. You also have 2 16x PCI slots, as well as 8x and 2 1x, so you can run a very nice graphics combination. And this is the header I was talking about for the internal LEDs if you wanted to connect those. You also have a little dial for easy overclocking. You just turn it and then press the button, and it'll overclock your CPU for you. And in terms of RARO, it's decently well laid out, obviously with plenty of USB ports, including USB Type-C and 3.1. You also have a water cooling pump sort of fan header for if you are using water cooling for better accurate representation and stuff like that. And in terms of the Mystic Light, it does look quite good. It's one of the more relatively tasteful representations of LEDs, so that's not too bad either, and you can change that via the MSI gaming app. Now the BIOS has to be one of the best BIOSes I've seen on motherboards recently. It's very well laid out, and even in the easy mode there are quite a few advanced or just very easy to change features, and with a hardware monitor it's actually pretty awesome too. So I've got to say, there aren't too many bad things to say about the motherboard. Obviously, in terms of price, it is still, an X99 board, so it is relatively expensive in comparison to stuff like Z170 boards and, more affordable AMD boards and stuff like that. So do bear that in mind. But in terms of its category, it is pretty well priced. In terms of features, it's got a good I/O placement. Only thing is the front I/O headers are on the left-hand side, so you have to stretch the cables quite far. But otherwise, stuff like overclocking is actually really easy. There's a little dial on the bottom, so you can just turn that dial and then press the button on top of it, and it will try and overclock the CPU to sort of that sort of ratio, or that sort of level. So 10 is like a super mega overclock, whereas 1 is just like a 5 megahertz or something insignificant. But yeah, it's nice and easy, and the BIOS is actually really well laid out. I like how MSI do the boot priority, so you can just drag stuff to the front without having to go into specific settings or anything. It's right there as soon as you enter the BIOS, so that's really cool. And the advanced mode does have some really cool features, especially in terms of overclocking, and that hardware monitor, the sort of the image of the motherboard within, you can hover over all the active components like the CPU socket and SATA sockets to see what's all plugged in and working and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty nice. In terms of the rest of the I/O, the RARO is pretty good. The storage connections are also rather nice, and yeah, it's nice. There's obviously reinforced PCI slots, which are cool, and for some reason both Gigabyte and MSI and possibly even ASUS seem to be doing this with reinforced RAM slots, which I've never broken a RAM slot before, and I've probably dealt with a few hundred, if not more, motherboards. So if I've not broken one, I don't know that too many people have, but I guess it fits with the aesthetic of the kind of black silver sort of style, so either way that kind of works. And in terms of style specifically, well, the sort of carbon fiber look isn't my personal favourite. I can see the very sort of appealing aesthetics to it, and it does, because it's black and silver, it does fit with a lot of cases, especially the Phanteks N2 Evolve that I've got it in. Actually looks really good in that. And obviously the RGB LEDs just seem to be the flavour of the year with pretty much every product, so it is kind of cool that they're there, but I expect the majority of people will probably set them and forget them type of thing. So yeah, either way, it's still nice. It's a nice featured board. The I/O is pretty well laid out, and yeah, it's just pretty awesome. So in terms of scoring, I'm gonna go for a 4 for 5 money. 5 for performance, I think 5 for functionality, and for me personally, I'm gonna go with a 4 for style and a 4 for TechteamGB score, but it is gonna get the gold award because it is a really nice motherboard and just kind of has everything you would expect. So yeah, I guess that's that. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you did, feel free to subscribe and hit the like button, and check out some of our other X99 motherboards. We've got stuff from Gigabyte and Asus as well, so feel free to check those out. I'll leave some cards up there for you. And yeah, otherwise, if you're picking this up on Amazon, it'd be awesome. You could use my affiliate link. Otherwise, if you're picking up anything else, please use that too. It does genuinely help me keep these videos going, so if you could do that, that would be awesome. And yeah, otherwise, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video.